Hey, Facebook family and friends. I've been meaning to do this video. The Lord has asked me to do another video and share a vision that He gave me. He gave it to me about 4 or 5 days ago. So here we go. So I was crying out for more. You could never get enough of God once you have really tasted His goodness. And He brought me to His throne room. I'm actually reading my notes so I don't forget anything. And in His throne room was filled with peace and love and this sweet harmony of music. And I saw God the Father, His Spirit. I saw Jesus at His right hand, and then the Holy Spirit. And the way it was demonstrated to me was the Holy Spirit was filled with fire. And it's not the first time I've seen the Holy Spirit completely consumed in fire. And I'll share that experience another day. The other one was, Jesus was filled with love. Just a love not like the way we see love today. And His eyes were filled with fire. And God was so bright, I could not see any form of a body. But what I did see was His hands. And His hand, He showed me that He was in control of everything. So He had all the seasons of this earth, fall, winter, spring, and even showed the effects of the season, the rain, the thunder, and it was like Him showing me that He had all authority over the earth, and every part of the earth He had full authority. And so, and then at that time, Jesus took my hand and said, "Let me show you paradise." And so He started to walk me through paradise. And in this paradise was just greenery of fields. I mean, beautiful. It's nothing as beautiful as we've seen here on earth, but it was beyond that. And the air was clear and crisp. It didn't have pollution like we do have here on earth. And it had these beautiful trees. I don't know if there were oak trees. I'm not sure, but I've never seen anything that huge. But what was the most thing that pointed out to me were two things. On top of the hills were these beautiful, clear, like mansions. There were, I don't even want to say glass because I've never seen glass that way. They were bright. And I was like a little kid, asking my father, what are those? And he said, those are my children's homes. And there was all these rivers. Some of them connected to others. And he put me in the river, and he dunked me 3 times, which I don't know yet what the significance of that was. Maybe he wanted me to just show me what it felt like. I don't know. So he got me out of the river, and it wasn't like, when you go jump in the pool and you come out and you're cold and you're wet. It didn't feel like that. It felt amazing and refreshing. I don't even have words to put in a dictionary that it was just a refreshing to my soul. And, all the animals were at peace, not like they do to here, a predator, it wasn't like that in heaven. And the sounds of refreshing and healing were in the air. So just to breathe the glory and heaven was healing. And And, I forgot to mention this, but going into the throne room of God was a narrow brown door. Um, and so, anyways, after this, what was shocking was afterwards, he showed me hell. And in hell, while I was walking in, you could smell the sulfur that was burning. I don't know. It was just like a burning, like a, like when you put something meat, not like good tasting meat, but like something's burning. When you have, probably the closest I could get to it is when you have something plastic that's burning, and you're like, oh, what is that smell? But in a fleshly meat type of a smell. And there was flames and screams everywhere. It was the most horrifying experience of my life. And as he was walking me in, I saw these pits, all these pits, and each and above, like right in front of the pit, was a sign. And maybe I think he was trying to significantly show me what were these pits for. And one of them was a famous music Christian band. And I'm not going to reveal the name of it, but what he was trying to show me was not everybody that says they're Christian and plays Christian music is actually hearing his heart, right? Doing things out of the flesh and just making music. And, so you have to really be careful what you tune into. You have to really be for sure that that as much, and the Lord will discern that to you, and once you've heard the sound of heaven that comes through music that God intended, once you hear the counterfeit, you're like, nah, that's not it, and I didn't know. I thought my hearing was sharp, and it's been getting sharper. So ask the Lord for that. He'll give that to you. The second pit he showed me was my maiden name, Trevino. And he said to me that this is my bloodline. And, my assignment was to pray for them, right? But, and I'll be sharing this with my family as well. So if you are listening, there's a pit that's assigned to our bloodline. Another pit was pastors, and these are pastors that have fallen away. These are pastors that have led their sheep astray and try to portray an image that, God's made out of love and he'll never send you to hell. That's not true, and it's not biblical. Some people think that they can have like a, get out of jail, but really get out of hell free card. Doesn't work that way. And God does love us. And he even says that even in hell, we will be there. He'll be there for us. And he, as we were looking, because there was people in these pits, and you couldn't distinguish what was male or female because they were burned to a crisp and they were being tortured. And he did look at them with love and compassion I have never seen. And, and while I was looking at him, he, with his eyes, and he was saying, like, this is what they chose. I do love my children. I don't want anyone to be here. And the other pit that I saw was worship leaders. So this is kind of tied to the first pit, but there was a specific pit for worship leaders. So these were ones that were playing, like worship leaders on a band at church, right? Because one of their main assignments is to usher the presence of God in, right? And it's going to be really hard for them to do that if they're living in sin. So the Lord, wanted me to share, what are these pits in hell, and probably many others. And while we were talking, me and the Lord, this person came up to me and grabbed my arm. I couldn't tell if they were male or female because they were so their skin was charred. It was burned. And as they were talking to me and were screaming on the top of their lungs and said, please, please, please tell as many people as you can not to come here. Tell them that this place is real. And as they were touching my hand, grabbing me, their skin started to become normal, like mine and yours. And then it would get reburned, not like first or second degree burn, like someone was burned in a house fire, right? They're just burned to a crisp, that type of burn. And I was like, well, what is that? Is it because there's a constant torture? And I saw these little demonic demons, something I've never seen in a video game or in a movie or anything I've ever seen anyone create, came behind them and had these spears and were stabbing people and kept stabbing that person and dragged them back to the pit. And it was so horrifying. And the Lord wanted me to pose a question to everybody. What do you choose? If you die tomorrow, are you 100% sure that you are going to heaven? Are you living a life that is what He is calling you to live? Have you died to your ways? Or are we just focused on this world and trying to get the next job, trying to get the next car, trying to get the next house? So the Lord wanted me to ask, what do you choose? Because it is a choice. We can all choose if we want to be sold out to Him and live a life, not in a religious way, because He didn't come for the Pharisees, because that's what they called them, Pharisees in when Jesus' days. He didn't come for the religious people. He came for the sinners, like me and you. He came for the broken. He came for the ones that thought, is this life? I want more. And we don't have to wait till we get to heaven to live life and abundantly. It's available to us now. But we have to make Lord over our lives. So if you are not sure, you need to cry out to God. Ask Him to forgive you. But in a genuine, because God knows our heart. We can't manipulate Him. We can't try to convince Him. He knows us intimately, better than we know ourselves. So the Lord asked me to make this video. I don't know. I'm just being obedient. So if you are watching this video, it's because He intended for you to listen to it. And He is pounding on people's heart. He is pounding. And I'm going to tell you why. Because He is coming very soon. It is here. It's before us. Our time is different than God's times. And nobody knows the hour or day. Tomorrow is not promised to any of us, me included. None of us are without sin. There's not, oh, little sin, big sin. Sin is sin in God's eyes. So I just ask that you ask yourself, do you know where you are headed? because each and every one of us will have either one or the other destination. You're either going to live in paradise with him or you're going to live in hell. And we will all be judged, me included. And if you believe this or not, if you believe him in or not, if you say, I don't believe in Jesus, it doesn't matter if you believe him. Because that moment when you have taken your last breath, or when, Jesus comes back, you will realize, you will know the truth. And once that moment happens, either you go be judged, or Jesus comes back, or the last days, there's no turning back after that. And so he is trying to reach you in so many different ways because he loves us so much. And I really believe that he should have came a long time ago. But he's trying to extend the time as much as possible because he loves us. So, I love you. I'm praying for you. And I pray that this reach every person that it should. Have a great day.